Welcome to TNT Sports Talk. Today is Thursday, August 23rd. As always, we're presented by D's Home Cuts. I'm your host, Travis Karcheski, joined by my other hosts,
Truman Karcheski. How's it going, guys?
Alright, so last night, we're just going to get right into it. About 9 o'clock last night, I was getting ready for bed here. The whole day was spent, refreshing your Twitter, trying to figure out when the situation of the Urban Meyer, investigation, when that all was going to, come out. The decision was being made throughout the entire day. It was kind of crazy because every single second of every single day you'd get another, rumor he's going to be fired, rumor he's not going to be fired, suspended, not suspended, back and forth. People were tweeting pictures of, his wife walking into the alumni house where it was being delegated. And then they had, the pizza being brought in. And everyone was just getting frustrated. But finally, 9 o'clock last night came to a head that he is going to be suspended for 3 games. He's going to miss Oregon State, Rutgers, and TCU. I think the 3 games is kind of a weird number. But I think if they would have done 2, people would have been pissed because then they've been like, oh, well, they're only suspending him 2 games.
He's back for TCU.
So he can be back for TCU.
Yeah.
But so they decided to do another game just so, to kind of cover their bases, cover their asses there. Again, I've been adamant since the beginning. I don't think he should have been suspended. I don't think he should have been punished. And I think that's what took so long yesterday, I guess, is 2 guys wanted him suspended, a prominent donor and the president wanted him suspended, but everybody else in the room didn't want him suspended. But I guess they kind of came to an agreement. 3 games. It's not a killer. Ohio State's still favored. I think TCU's the scariest game, but we're still favored 80% to 20% to win that game. And I still think we'll win. I still think we'll go 3-0. I think we have enough talent, and I think Ryan Day will do a fine job there. But it's sad to see. I'm glad the situation got resolved. Truman was saying he's going to get fired. He's still going to be the head coach, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's just another bad move. I think more stuff is going to come out. I think this is a bad move by Ohio State. Because I just feel like they just tried to give him a suspension just to give him a suspension. I felt like this decision lied with, okay, he did something wrong. If he did something wrong, that was a fireable offense. And he wasn't fired. And if he did nothing wrong, then he shouldn't be suspended at all. And he should be free to coach today. But so they just gave him 3 games. I felt like just to make everyone kind of happy. Ohio State fans are happy because he's still the head coach. He's not going to be fired. And then people that like me against the situation see that he still gets a little bit of a punishment. But the whole situation was just kind of wacky. I just feel like it was either being fired, he should have been fired, or he shouldn't have been suspended at all. And Ohio State just gave him 3 games to make people satisfied, which I don't think is right.
But the only reason you don't think it's right is because you're a Wisconsin fan and you hate Ohio State.
If
this was any other situation...
So if he did something wrong, you're saying he shouldn't have been fired?
No, but I'm just saying, if this was any other situation, you would not care at all.
No, because everyone's been saying that it's either he was supposed to get fired because he did something wrong, or he did nothing wrong and he shouldn't have been suspended and shouldn't have been punished
obviously,
at all.
what Ohio State came up with... Decision,
so what did he do?
Ohio State came up with the decision that what he did was wrong, but it wasn't to the extreme to where your point he should have been fired. Because obviously,
what he did was
crossed some sort of line, but the line he crossed wasn't so extreme that you have to completely get rid of him and his entire, regime because of what he did. He didn't do something so terrible to the point where he deserved to get fired.
This isn't one of those situations because the thing that he would have done wrong, and we don't know if he did that or not because the press conferences they answered no questions for anybody. He either did something very wrong or he didn't do anything wrong. Because in that situation, his coach committed a criminal offense that's very serious, and if he
wasn't charged,
if he covered that up,
then
that's serious and he should have been fired. If he didn't know about it and there wasn't as much information provided to him as there should have been, then he shouldn't have been fired at all. It shouldn't have been like well, he only communicated it to one person, but he should have communicated it to 3 people, so, we're going to give him a 3-game suspension.
And that's what happened, because he communicated it to Gene Smith, who was also suspended, the athletic director. So obviously, a lot of people are at fault here. I think the big reason why he got suspended was because of the Big Ten Media Day. He did a poor job there. He admitted it last night. He apologized. He said he did not represent the university very well that day. And to say, his coach committed a criminal offense, he wasn't charged with anything, so how could it be a criminal offense?
He was charged with many things in his past.
He was never convicted of anything.
OVI, trespassing.
Yeah, and obviously Urban Meyer, he stated last night, he said, my commitment to my history with Zach Smith's dad, who was his mentor, his grandfather, who was his mentor, probably shaded, caused him to kind of give Zach Smith a lot more chances, a lot more benefit of the doubt than what he should have. And he admitted that last night, and he apologized. I think this situation where got completely clouded by a bunch of people, saying he should have been fired. And I think at the end of the day, 3 games, let him serve a suspension, let him move on, and we'll get past this. And in 2 days here, this won't even be a story.
I don't think that's true. I think Ohio State's gotta answer some more questions on their investigation, because that press conference did nobody any good. They gave, the president, he did a good job of stating, what was going to go down, how he's going to be suspended. And then Urban Meyer came up, gave his apology, which we all expected him to do, because what else would he do? And then he sat back down, answered some questions, didn't really answer any of them, just kind of kept repeating, apologizing, working around the question. So I don't think he answered any questions, and I think once he's able to speak to the media again, which I don't know when he is because he'll be suspended, he'll have to answer some more questions. So I don't think the situation's done. I think the punishment's done. I don't think anybody's got to worry about any rebuttals, but I think the situation's never going to be done with, and I think this is something that's going to cloud Urban Meyer for a while.
No, I don't think it will. I think he'll just move on. Obviously, football sadly fixes everything. Winning fixes everything. As soon as football starts again, it'll kind of get...
Not when it comes to domestic abuse.
I mean, yeah, obviously that. And heart goes out to Zach Smith's wife. But I think the situation's over and done with. It was a messed up situation from the beginning. I think a lot more coaches now around the NCAA are going to start to take, a closer look at their program and, some of the stuff that they're doing wrong. And I think this is going to set a precedent in the future and hopefully stop these type of situations. So with that, we're going to move on to the NFL now. We talked about Richie Incognito the other day, threatening the funeral director at his dad's funeral. I guess, and we put it in our boldest move, I guess the whole argument started because Richie Incognito wanted his father's head cut off because he wanted to take his father's head and use it for some sort of scientific research, he said, and the funeral director obviously refused. So I don't know what Richie Incognito's deal is. He's probably got something messed up in his head. He's been kind of a crazy guy, like we said, but this story just proves this guy there's something wrong with him. And hopefully he figures whatever it is out. But, I mean, like I said, I guess it was kind of the boldest move of the week, even though my poll lost on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't understand what his deal is. He should go to jail for a little bit, and then he should go to counseling for a while and figure out what the hell's wrong with him. He's just a brutal guy. Something went wrong in his childhood or something. And he needs some help. I feel for whatever happened to him, because something major happened to him. But he needs to stop this madness. He's hurting a lot of people. He's rumors he's bullied a lot of people. You go to his Twitter, he's called people out left and right. And then this just I hope he gets it figured out, because I know no normal person acts like that.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with this guy. But I guess it would be kind of cool to keep his father's head. I don't know what he would do with it, where he would put it. But with that, we're going to move on now to, training camps winding up here. We got about 2 more weeks left, and the final cuts from 90 to 53. It's just as brutal as it can get. Guys just get cut, compete for a job. So what are some surprise players that I think are on the bubble here? We'll go 1v1 here, talk about it a little bit. I'm going to start off. I think Paxton Lynch is done in Denver. He got booed on, I think the second preseason game, he got booed in Denver. He's a third-string guy now. Never really worked out. First-round pick. He's just kind of sucked. I don't really know why, because he was pretty talented at Memphis, but now he's just kind of a piece of trash. And Denver fans are ready to get rid of him. I know there's GoFundMes that have been started trying to get some money raised so they can pay John Elway, the cap hit it would take if they did cut him. But I think his time in Denver's done. He'll get another shot 'cause he's a first-round safety, but a first-round quarterback. But I think his time in Denver is done, and we'll see what happens from there.
One surprise cut possibly for me, Brashad Perryman.
I had that too.
The Ravens. He's had a really rough career after being drafted out of CF or USF.
CF.
Yeah, he's had a really, really rough career. Has not, done anything really. But I don't know. He's a young player. He's got a high ceiling from the draft, but he has he just hasn't lived up to anything.
Him and Kevin White, two biggest wide receivers, and Treadwell too. I mean,
He's been better, but I think
he hasn't caught a touchdown.
John Brown and Joe Flacco are kind of creating a spark. That's a receiver to watch out for this year, especially in your fantasy leagues. Michael Crabtree, he's a talented receiver. Brashad Perryman just not going to be a corner piece of their offense anymore, and I think the Ravens could easily move on from him.
Seems like wide receivers the past couple of years in the first round are either really good or really bad. You see like Corey Coleman, Perryman, Kevin White, Treadwell. I mean, the list goes on and on. Last year, Mike Williams, John Ross. They're either going to be really good or really bad, and it's kind of a high risk type of situation. Another guy I could see getting cut is Teddy Bridgewater. I could see.
They're not cutting him.
I don't know. I mean, why keep him?
You could easily get a trade for him. If you can't find
a trade partner for him, I think he's an easy cut.
They will not just cut him. I'll put money on that. If anybody wants to,
if he asks for a cut,
I'll put my entire bank account on that. He's not gonna. When there's trade partners out there, which they've said there are, why would they ever?
I don't know.
Cut him.
They saying that, but there's.
Why would they ever cut someone who has?
Nobody has really been reported.
He's had the best preseason of a quarterback in the NFL.
No, he's not.
Yes, he has.
No, he's not.
Yes, he has.
He's not.
Okay,
he's
you
trash.
can keep saying no. Okay, great.
Good argument. You don't like Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, but he's obviously having a great preseason, so why would you cut him?
Because if they can't find a trade partner, why not just cut him? He's going to want to ask for a cut. He's going to want to try to find.
How do you know that?
He's not going to want to stay third string quarterback.
He won't be third. He might start.
He's not going to start over McCown or
All right.
Darnold.
This just in. Travis is a Jets insider, so.
What?
You're a Jets insider. Apparently, you know who's starting week 1.
Was I? What?
Apparently, you know who's starting week 1.
Well, I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to start week 1. I think he's going to get cut here if they don't find a trade partner for him. He takes a big cap hit if they decide to keep him and they don't play him at all. So if they can't find a trade partner, I think they cut him.
One for me is Mike Gillislee, the Patriots. He was a really good inside the 5-yard line running back last year for the Patriots. But that running back room is crowded. James White, Sony Michel. It's going to be hard for the Patriots to kind of keep all of them and give them carries especially. He would latch onto a team that's looking for, a backup running back to take third down carries and in the red zone. But I could see that being a cut for the Patriots.
You see Randall Cobb getting cut?
No, not at all.
No? Sports are trying to trade him last night, actively shopping him around.
It just came out that the Packers said that's not true at all.
Well, you could see it, though, couldn't you?
No.
Got a lot of young rookie wide receivers.
Why would we cut him? Then we'd still have to pay his big contract.
Got a lot of young rookie wide receivers, trying to keep a couple of them. Got a year left.
No.
No?
Not going to happen. We'd still have to pay his huge contract. Why wouldn't we use him?
I don't know. I could see it happening, or I could see
Why would we trade Aaron Rodgers? His favorite target was Jordy Nelson. We got rid of him. Why would we get rid of his second favorite, been there the longest with him?
It's clear Packers really don't care about Aaron Rodgers' opinion. We've seen over this offseason.
Okay.
But we'll see. That was a rumor going around last night. I don't know.
It just came out this morning. Apparently you weren't looking at the news this morning.
I don't know. I could see it happening. I could see Randall Cobb getting the axe or getting moved here. But hopefully that won't happen. A couple other minor NFL news. George Iloka signed with the Vikings. Iloka. Played with the Bengals last year, started all 16 games. Kind of a surprise cut. He got cut by the Bengals, signed with the Vikings, so more safety depth for them to that overrated defense. Next, Charles Johnson. He retired from the Panthers, 11 years in the NFL, all with the Panthers. Kind of a key player in that locker room, kind of a stable there for the last couple years. Hopefully, he finds what he wants to do in retirement and has a good time. And then Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie signed with the Raiders. 11 years in the league. This is his 5th team. Some cornerback help going to Oakland. So with that, we're going to move now to baseball. We forgot to talk about Daniel Murphy the other day. He signed with the Cubs. Did they just cut him, or was it like a sign and trade waiver type of thing?
I don't really understand it.
He's on the Cubs now. That's all that matters. Somebody who's going to really help the Cubs in that lineup. He's obviously got one of the best bats in the MLB. I don't know what his numbers are right now, but it's obvious. We're going to get into this in a little bit. The Nationals are kind of breaking it down a little bit. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We got some questions to be answered in question and answer. But I think the Cubs are kind of, expecting to go pretty far in these playoffs. So they went ahead and got a bat like Daniel Murphy.
It's a good pickup for them. A veteran. It's going to fit really well in their lineup. You look up and down their lineup. Every time someone's up to bat, they have a risk of getting a hit, hitting a home run, whatever. So it just adds to that really fiery offensive lineup for the Cubs. So that's a really good pickup. I'm confused as to what this whole, sign and trade thing is, and how these
all that
players
matters
get to
is
do that.
he's on the Cubs now, kicking the Brewers' ass.
Great to know you're a Cubs fan now.
All right, then we're going to talk about the other team. Well, we got another Cubs news. Darvish out for the season. Big Cubs signing over the offseason, supposedly supposed to help that rotation. He's been nothing but a disappointment. We'll get into it a couple weeks from now when the season's over, best and worst offseason signings. I think Darvish is right up there. He's been nothing but a disappointment for Chicago. When he's on the field, he sucks. When he's not, he's hurt. So, obviously, it doesn't really matter because the Cubs are in first place, but this is just a giant waste of money and time for the Cubs organization.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because Darvish,
You wanted him.
Yeah. I mean, anybody would have wanted him after hearing his career. 2 years, he was 1 year ago, he was an ace. He started Game 7 of the World Series. I know he didn't perform well, but, that was almost like his downfall. After that Game 7 where he performed really bad for the Dodgers, he went downhill. But other than that, he's had an amazing career. He was a great ace for the Rangers for a while, and then he went to the Dodgers. He performed pretty well for them. And then he signed with Chicago in the offseason and, hasn't looked any type of good whatsoever. So it's kind of sad to see. I could see him being a player, though, that, takes a year off, gets healthy, and comes back and pitches and performs well. But, I don't see him being, the ace that the Rangers had for a while.
All right, so sticking in Chicago, the White Sox, Michael Kopech got his first MLB start. You should know his name by now, even if you're a casual baseball fan. Probably the best pitching prospect in the MLB for the last couple of years. Was traded to Chicago. I believe he was with the Red Sox and got traded to Chicago in the Chris Sale trade. Sadly, he only pitched 2 innings because it got cut short due to a 52-minute rain delay. But he did pitch 2 very good innings, struck out 4 batters in 2 innings, which is really impressive. Obviously, you can't tell a lot about a pitcher in his first career start, but that's pretty promising for the Chicago White Sox, who desperately need some young talent coming through that organization.
Yeah, I can't remember, obviously besides Jose Quintana, the last time, the White Sox have had a true ace. Chris Sale, before he went to the Red Sox. But, a young ace that, is going to be there for a while, like a young talent coming up. So the White Sox, this is important for them. He needs to be, that cornerstone. Because I can't remember the last time, you said Chris Sale, but, I can't even remember the last time I had, true young talent coming up that everyone's been excited about. So this is big for the White Sox, but he's, I think he'll get another start. He'll start in September for them, and we can really see if he is, something the White Sox can look forward to.
Yeah, so like we said, Kopech's pretty big for the White Sox, but D's Home Cuts is pretty big for your looks. So let me tell you guys about D's Home Cuts. D's Home Cuts is the best place around Northeast Ohio for a great haircut at a low price. For only $7, that's right, $7, you can get a modern haircut and styling. You can go anywhere. Me and Truman have been to a couple different places where it's a lot more than $7 for a good, solid haircut. And it's probably one of the best haircuts I've ever gotten. the reviews are in. Everybody goes there. Everybody gets their haircut there. It's a great place. You're going to have a great time when you walk in there. And you're going to get a great haircut because Dom is always upgrading his equipment so he can give you the best haircut possible. Follow these home cuts on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram is probably the best place because you can easily set up an appointment in his bio. Quick, probably about 2 seconds it takes to set up an appointment. Walk in there, get a quick, good haircut for only $7. You will not be disappointed. These home cuts, professional haircuts at a low price. So we got some basketball news. We haven't had a lot of basketball news in the past couple days. The season is starting up here. Training camp's starting, I think it's September, so not too far off. And everybody's looking to see, how these new rookies are going to perform. And that starts with the rookie survey. So what the rookie survey is where all the rookies vote, on who's going to be the best, who's going to have the best career, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, best shooter, biggest steal, stuff like that. So we got the reports are in now. We're just going to give, a little reaction to that. Best career, they voted Wendell Carter out of Chicago with the Bulls. They said he'll have the best and longest career. You agree or disagree?
I can see it. He's a good player, and it seems like he has a really good upside. But I don't know. I feel like there's like DeAndre Ayton. That's an easy pick for that. DeAndre Ayton could have been picked for every one of these. And a lot of those top 3 picks could have been. But I can see that he definitely would have been in my top 3. But I can agree.
Rookie of the Year, we had a tie. DeAndre Ayton and Colin Sexton. I like Colin Sexton for winning this award. I think he's kind of going to be... Kevin Love will be the leader, but I think Colin Sexton has the room to grow in Cleveland because he's not shadowed by LeBron anymore. So I could see him winning Rookie of the Year, but Ayton's a good pick too. He's a monster.
Yeah, I would have picked Ayton for all of these. The more I think about it, but Colin Sexton's a good pick. Trae Young could be a good pick there. I'm not too high on Trae Young, but he's gonna be Atlanta's main piece. I could see him being Rookie of the Year, but Colin Sexton's a good pick.
Biggest steal, Keita Bates-Diop from Ohio State University, which I think is a pretty good pick. I was surprised he didn't go in the first round. He's a big, long, athletic guy who can shoot. He can play every single position. He's, a little bit rougher than Anthony Davis, but I could see, he's got measurables comparable to him. He can shoot, and he's big, and he's long. And I'm surprised he fell to the second round, and Minnesota got a complete steal there.
I would have picked Michael Porter Jr. I mean, the kid was supposed to be
he's top 15.
Top 3 pick, and he fell to 14 or 15.
If he even plays this year, though.
So I think the Nuggets got a hell of a steal.
What if he doesn't play this year, though?
I mean, he's going to have an amazing career.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't play? So far, our biggest steal would be Keita Bates-Diop.
And then in 5 years down the line, it's going to be Michael Porter Jr.
All right, we'll see. Hopefully injuries don't plague him. Best shooter, last category is Trae Young, which I think is pretty obvious. I forget who was the second. I think Doncic was second place there. But obviously Trae Young, great year at Oklahoma, good shooter.
Yeah, I think Trae Young is an exciting player, but I'm not too high. Like I said, I'm not too high on him. But he's easy for all these picks because his upside's very fantastic. Because the start of his season last year at Oklahoma showed an absolute superstar, but then he faltered towards the end. So you could get 2 Trae Youngs in Atlanta, and one is very, very good. So,
all right, Manu Ginobili, the last remaining piece from that Spurs team. Kawhi's gone, Duncan's gone, Parker's gone. Even I would say Danny Green. I mean, he's gone. So really, he's that last remaining hope of looking back into the past for the Spurs, and he's considering retiring. He's been talking with Popovich the last couple of days. He's played for 20 years, I think. But, I mean, he is that last little piece that Spurs fans can just look at and remember the good old days, because it's going to be rough here for the next couple of years for them, even though they got DeRozan. This would be a pretty sad day in the NBA if he's gone, because, I mean, that's, like I said, that's the end of the Spurs, I think. That old Spurs team, that powerhouse. Hopefully he doesn't retire. He had a pretty decent year last year, but obviously if he hangs it up, it was a good career for him.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Definitely.
Everybody goes to Hall of Fame in the basketball.
Yeah, but Manu Ginobili, he's a Hall of Famer. He was probably my favorite of the big 3 they had there. But just looking back on the Spurs and how they did everything, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, they didn't have the most talent in the world. Like, they weren't the most talented guys, but they came together under an amazing coach, one of the best coaches of all time, and they won some real championships there. I love when they beat LeBron. That last year he was in Miami. So I think that was their last championship. But Manu Ginobili, great career, great guy, from what I know, and you can see though from his play in the past seasons, he's getting older and older. But good career, and it'll be sad to see him go and that big three for the Spurs end.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. But we're going to talk about the Pelicans and the Heat today with our team reviews. Pelicans kind of had a pretty boring off season. They lost, obviously, DeMarcus Cousins and Rajon Rondo, which were two pretty big pieces last year. And they kind of they tried to replace them with Julius Randle and Elfrid Payton. Two, I guess, younger guys that, are pretty decent, pretty young talent. But I don't think it's enough for them. I don't think they get the 6th seed last year. I don't think they're going to get the 6th seed. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. Obviously, Anthony Davis is a franchise-changing player, but they just don't have enough with just him and Drew Holiday running the show there.
Well, to compete in the West, no, because the West is just so good, and Anthony Davis is the only superstar there. So they got good pieces around him. You said Drew Holiday, Julius Randle is a good pickup. One of my favorite pickups of the offseason. But the loss of DeMarcus Cousins is just going to hurt them. I'm not a big fan of their backcourt. Losing Rajon Rondo, who's a really big leader in that locker room, it's going to hurt them. And I think the Pelicans are another team, they got to watch, losing Anthony Davis in the future, because he might go ahead and make a super team somewhere else if the Pelicans don't get talent around him. So I think the Pelicans won't compete this year. Maybe for an 8 seed, but that's the most I could see them doing.
I think they're done. I think Anthony Davis is going to move on here soon. And this team is just going to kind of be stuck in purgatory for a while. Then the Heat, which have had a pretty boring offseason in itself. They only really, they haven't signed Dwayne Wade back. He wants to come back, I don't know, but obviously I think that's the only place for him to go is Miami. I don't think many other teams are going to want him. But you never know. He's a solid bench piece now. But other than that, they haven't really added anybody. They didn't really do much over the offseason. They got the 6th seed last year. I think a lot more teams in the East got better. So this is another team I could see falling out of the playoffs pretty easily.
Yeah, but it's the East. I love Spoelstra. I think he's a fantastic coach. And I think the Heat could compete for, a lower seed in the East. But I also could, like you said, see them missing the playoffs. The Heat are one of those teams, they're in a big market down in Miami. They won't stay down for long. They have money. Pat Riley will bring a superstar there before long, and they'll be a good team again. But, this year I could see the Heat faltering. But, like I said, East, you never know. Any of those teams can make the playoffs, especially in the bottom of that conference. So we'll see.
Yeah, you never really know what's going to happen in the East. But as long as you turn to A's Lawn Service, you'll always know how good your lawn will look. It's always going to look spectacular. Since 2014, A's has been providing professional landscaping to many homes around Northeast Ohio. By using professional equipment, A's constantly strives to provide families with professional landscaping at a low and fair price. Turn to A's, and trust me, your lawn, your home will never look better. It's turning to fall now. Football season's starting up. College football every Saturday. High school football every Friday. NFL football every Sunday. Don't waste your free time on the weekends cutting your lawn, pulling weeds. Turn to A's, and trust me, your lawn, your home will never look better. The phone number is 330-241-2392. Again, 330-241-2392. And the email is lawnservice.a's@gmail.com. A's Lawn Service LLC. You grow it, we cut it. So, last show we did some new segments. We're trying to, get a little bit into a different sort of group here with, instead of just reading sports headlines, do some, some fun stuff, a little bit different stuff. So we're going to try out some more headlines today. We talk about sports the entire show, but obviously, there's a lot more going on in the world than just sports. So we're going to give, I'll let Truman start it off, one crazy story that doesn't involve sports, completely unrelated to sports. It's not going to be straight politics because that's boring. Just a crazy story that you don't really know about, you don't really hear about in the main headlines, in your Fox News, NBC, stuff like that. So I'm going to let Truman kick it off with our first ever crazy non-sport story.
Well, you can pee in urinals in public now. There's a there's a story coming out I read that they're starting in foreign countries and around America. Very rare to find, but they're putting public urinals outside. Just on walking paths in front of lakes, in front of
we're not talking
creeks,
just like
rivers.
Public restrooms here. We're talking like straight up, just like it looks like a trash can.
No, yeah, it's just like outside, just like on a walking path.
And
like
you
just walk your dog down the path and you can go pee. It's a urinal too, so it's kind of cool. I don't know if this is to prevent just going on trees like we usually do outside, but
men do.
It's kind of a cool idea, and if I saw one, I definitely would try to dribble out some pee.
All right, I'm gonna go with my crazy sports story. It's in Georgia, right here in the great United States of America. Authorities in Georgia are searching for a ramen noodle thief. So supposedly a trailer of about $100,000 worth of ramen noodles was stolen in Georgia over the week, which is kind of crazy to me because ramen noodles are cheap. To have $100,000 worth of ramen noodles, I mean, how much is that, and how much do you actually need? Because it's a pretty decent snack, I would say. Most college kids.
Like it.
Okay, well that's weird. Most college kids like ramen noodles, and to steal $100,000 worth of it, that's gonna put a huge dent in the college scene down there in Florida and Georgia. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they catch this guy, but I mean, if this guy really needs to steal $100,000 worth of ramen noodle, I think you should kind of let him keep it, because he's obviously going through some stuff if he has to steal $100,000 worth of ramen noodles.
I just really don't know what his motive is. I mean, it's a good snack, but do you really want it for every day for the rest of your life? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to get some
sell ramen noodles
side cash on the street? I don't know, but it's a good idea, I guess, if he gets away with it.
Honestly, you take that $100,000 worth of ramen noodles, you go to like Georgia campus, and you just sell it for like $2 a pack, bring it to the dorms.
Someone would probably.
You'd make a profit.
Someone would catch you.
No, you'd make a profit. So maybe he's trying to be the kingpin down there. We'll see. But that's it for that. Another segment we're gonna do is some minor sports headlines that we don't talk about. So every show we give you football, baseball, basketball, the three major ones, and we'll talk some hockey, and that's pretty much about it. So we're gonna try to get into more of the minor sports. I don't know what sports, but whatever. Like today we're gonna talk about a little golf today, Truman. How's that sound?
Okay, hit me with it.
So, Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah.
Two of the most famous golfers, I would say, on the PGA Tour right now. Not because they're the best, but because, their name, the past they were. Tiger Woods is the best golfer of all time. Phil Mickelson is right up there, too.
I don't really know golf, so.
Okay, but you would like to see them play one-on-one, wouldn't you?
Sure.
Well, you're in luck. Thanksgiving weekend this year, they're going to play a one-on-one tournament, just the two of them, one round of golf, one-on-one. The winner gets $9 million. That pique your interest a little bit?
$9 million. I mean, for them, probably not. That's probably pennies.
But no, listen, it's Phil Mickelson versus Tiger Woods. We probably wanted to see them do this a long time ago, but it's better late than never. You get to see two of the greatest golfers of all time go head-to-head for a winner-take-all $9 million tournament.
It's probably pennies for them.
Still, though, it's pretty exciting, don't you think? You're going to tune in? Thanksgiving weekend, November 23rd.
It's pennies to them, though.
I'm telling you, though, every single person's going to tune in. I bet you this gets more views than, most golf tournaments, because this is going to be exciting just to go down, winner-take-all, $9 million, just to see, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson go head-to-head on that golf course. Going to be an exciting time to watch when everybody's, out of school, out of work for Thanksgiving.
Here's an interesting one. Jim Harbaugh is a weird guy. He's a really, some people really like him and some people really hate him. But He's overall a really, really funny guy. I'm beginning to like him. I didn't like him when he was at the 49ers, but now he's at Michigan. I think he's a really weird, kind of wacky, cool guy.
Wacky.
But is that not a word?
Nobody says wacky anymore.
Okay. He doesn't let his players eat chicken because it's too what are they? Yeah, chicken because it's too nervous of a bird to eat. What does that mean? It's too nervous of a bird to eat. He came out and he said that he doesn't want his players eating chicken because it's too nervous of a bird to eat. I don't know why Jim Harbaugh would come out and say this to the press, why he would come out and tell people that, that's his thing, but he doesn't let his players eat chicken because it's too nervous of a bird to eat.
All right, moving now to question and answer. Got 2 questions here. Then we're going to wrap it up. One question we got. Now that the Browns got Josh Gordon back, he's back now. He's in camp. We saw it at last episode of Hard Knocks. What does signing Dez Bryant still make sense? I don't know. I think so. I think obviously bringing in a guy like Dez Bryant anywhere is going to help, no matter how much talent you have in the room. I think it does. I think you saw on Hard Knocks. I don't think you didn't watch it, did you?
Not yet. Don't spoil it.
Okay, well, we got to talk about it. He was walking down the hallways, introducing himself to everybody. I don't know. There's some rumors out there, some conspiracy theories on Twitter that Dez Bryant only, was interested in the Browns because he wanted to get on Hard Knocks. He kind of wanted to get his name out there a little bit more, which is an interesting theory. I could see it because Dez Bryant, I think, obviously we don't know him personally, but when he was walking in, he looked kind of fake to me. He was walking in, he's introducing himself to everybody, saying, "How's it going? My name's Dez." Like, everybody knows who you are, Dez Bryant. You don't got to introduce yourself to everybody.
The polite thing to do.
Yeah, but I can see that as being kind of fake. Dez Bryant's not that type of guy. Yeah. He's kind of all about himself.
We'll see. I mean,
you hate Dez Bryant.
Yeah, but I think there's no issue with him going up and introducing himself.
I don't know, he looked kind of fake to me, and I could see that though, where he just went on to kind of get back into the spotlight a little bit. But I think it's still conceivable. I think it still makes sense bringing in a guy like Dez Bryant. Obviously, I think then you'd have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. I mean, in the league with Bryant, Gordon, Landry, Antonio Callaway, Rashad Higgins, who I like a lot. So I think that would make them one of the most talented wide receiver groups in the league.
I wouldn't do it anymore the more I think about it because of speed. Josh Gordon's really fast, but he's a bigger receiver. He uses his speed.
Jarvis Landry's a speed guy.
Jarvis Landry's a speed guy. But you also
Callaway's a speed guy.
Dez Bryant is not a speed guy. So 2 out of the 3 of your top targets when Dez Bryant would come would be slower guys. Well, not I say slow in a meaning of Josh Gordon's really fast, Dez Bryant's really fast. But they don't use their speed. They use their separation and their size to get away from defenders. If I were the Browns and I were looking to add a receiver, I would have gone with a little bit more of a slot, speedy route, because I think this offense is going to try and be more of a hybrid, quick offense. The way they have looked in their preseason games, their most success has been when they're running a high-paced, fast offense.
I think if they would have wanted to go that route, though, they would have kept Corey Coleman.
Corey Coleman was a head case.
I think they really like
Corey Coleman.
They really like Antonio Callaway.
Corey Coleman wouldn't use his speed. He wouldn't use his size. He wouldn't use his hands.
That's true.
So I think obviously it's probably too late now because there's not that many people out there. But if they were to looking to add another receiver, which they don't need to, like you said, they like Antonio Callaway. I don't think they need to add another person to take receptions away from him. I don't think Randall Cobb's a Packer, so why would you want to trade him? So I think I don't. It would make sense and it would add talent to a room that's already talented, but it's not a top priority for them, and I wouldn't do it.
All right, well I would do it. I think Dez is a talented receiver. I think you can't have enough talent on your team. You can't have too much talent. I think Dez is a little overrated than most people think, than what he thinks. I think he came into the league and just, he's really shitty at running routes. We all know that. That's why he got cut by Dallas. That's why he had a bad year last year. He can't run routes. He has all the raw talent in the world, but he's just not a pure. He could be a top 5 receiver if he really worked on himself. But I don't think he has the motivation to do that because he is all about himself and he is a giant head case. So last question we got: are the Nationals tearing it down? They got rid of Matt Adams. They got rid of Daniel Murphy. They didn't trade Bryce Harper, although there were reports they were trying to. Are they gone? Are they done? Are they going to tear it down over this offseason? Where do you see them going?
They could either tear it down or they could just get new, fresher talent around Bryce Harper. It all depends on Bryce Harper.
They got some young talent.
If they trade Bryce Harper, they're rebuilding. If they keep him, then I think they're going to try and surround him with new, fresh talent. So I don't know. It's too early to be seen yet, but it all depends on Bryce Harper. If Bryce Harper stays, then the Nationals are probably just going to try to do a quick 1 to 2 year rebuild and get some talent. If he leaves, they're probably going to get some prospects for him, try and trade him, and we'll see. They're going to have to rebuild.
They got some young talent, though, fresh young talent with Trey Turner. Juan Soto's been having a pretty good year. He's a rookie. Pitching, like I said, one of the better pitching staffs in the MLB. And it kind of sucks that they haven't been able to put it together, really.
Yeah, because you'd expect that. I mean, the Nationals were supposed to compete for a World Series this year. A lot, including me, I believe, picked them to be in the World Series. I didn't pick them to be in the World Series.
Yeah,
did I?
You might have.
I don't know if I did or not. But, a lot of people thought they were going to compete, but unfortunately they're not. And, Max Scherzer's there, too. That's another key player to watch because he's a cornerstone of their franchise.
What happened to Travis Frederick?
I don't know.
He has some, disease or something.
No, that's, what's his face? Martin.
No, Martin hurt his knee.
I don't know then.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that on Tuesday's show. But that's it for our show today. Thank you to our sponsors, D's Home Cuts and A's Lawn Service. We ask that you go onto iTunes, give us 5 stars, rate, review us, and subscribe. Our Twitter is TNT Sports Talk 12, and so is our Instagram, which is kind of dead right now. What's the status on that?
I'll get it up and running.
All right, so Truman's going to get it up and running. You have his word. He's going off to college here, though, so I'm not sure what the future for us is, whether it's more of just one-on-one, just one of us, either it's just me or just Truman. We're going to have to figure that out, but obviously, we're putting out content every single day, every single Tuesday, every single Thursday. There'll still be an episode, whether it's just me, whether it's just Truman. I don't know. We have a couple more interviews hopefully coming down the line here soon. We'll see, so stay tuned for that. But follow us on Twitter. Send us DMs, questions, answers, guests. Obviously, with a lot of our guests are going off to college now, so it's kind of harder for us to find people to come on. So we're always looking for somebody to come on and give their opinion about sports, even if it's shitty. We still want to hear from you. Send us, comments, concerns, new segment ideas, segments you like, segments you don't like, because we're kind of figuring out, new segments every single day. We're going to test some new stuff out. But other than that, listen to us on 12 Ounce tomorrow from 12 to 1. Follow us, find us on YouTube, iTunes, wherever you want to listen. We're trying to get on more platforms. But other than that, have a great day and tune in on Tuesday.
Thank you, go Packers.